Yeah, look, what we've seen with Rabada is that he's clearly world-class. Again, backing up a brilliant performance this evening after having such a dominant IPL last year. His genuine pace, his accuracy is something very special, and called upon at the right time, he's a match winner, and he's proven it this evening.
We've seen how good he's been for South Africa. We've seen how good he's been in the IPL, particularly bowling under pressure, getting that big wicket of Maxwell, who's just hit a sensational 100 for Australia. So he is in good form. And then coming back and bowling that super over under pressure against two really good players. Just the control, pace, aggression. To bowl Yorkers when it's needed, and it's not that easy when batters are going at 100 miles. So Delhi must be very, very happy with his form at the moment.
Yeah, before the tournament started, I also nominated him for the purple cap, so I'm very happy about it. Every time I see Rabada bowl, I can see that he's just in a different league with a lot of the other fast bowlers in the tournament. Got a crucial wicket of Maxwell with a superb slow ball right up there to completely fox Maxwell, and then he's the super over king, isn't it? Does it repeatedly for his team in the super over.
What we've seen with Agarwal is a player with a good technique is going to be very much required in these early games. We saw it with Faf du Plessis in the very first game with Chennai Super Kings. He weathered the storm and played superbly well to dig his team out of a serious hole. He then gets to the point of the innings where he could close the game quite simply for his team and has a bit of a brain fade and holds out at deep cover point. Again, whether that's mental fatigue or physical fatigue, it was a massive mistake in the context of the game. But then the surprising thing for me was that he then didn't come out for that super over. He was one player that was very accustomed to the pace of the wicket. He'd faced a lot of Rabada, and the energy and pace and quality of Rabada, I think would have combated quite well.
Absolute incredible innings. Such a huge factor in Kings XI even reaching or tying the game, because at one point they looked well out of it. And batted just normally. Never looked like rushing into his shots or trying to be in a hurry to score those runs, just proper cricketing shots. More than a little bit surprised that he didn't come out to bat in that super over. You could see that he was a little bit tired, but had got about 10-12 minutes of break since his wicket and the subsequent ball or two that was bowled after that, and there was a little break before the super over started. So I certainly would have liked to have him come out to bat in that super over, considering how well he had batted and the form that he looks in. So perhaps Kings XI Punjab made a mistake there or missed a trick.
So this is a guy who has not been in this situation many times in T20 cricket. Now, if it was Dhoni, he would have just picked off a single and won the game. So this is a young batsman who's played over 70 IPL games, a strike rate of 120, average of about 18. So what he did today was sensational, exceptional for him. I thought it was a terrific innings, but in the end, couldn't quite finish off for the reason that I mentioned. Super over, I thought it wasn't a bad choice to leave him back, because what he wanted a super over, especially against somebody like Rabada, is maximum runs. And were the batsmen suited to go in there and start blasting straight away? Because that is what you do when you get into the super over. You get a batsman who will score the most, two batsmen. And I thought the choice wasn't so bad.
Yeah, Marcus Stoinis played an absolute blinder. Again, Delhi Capitals were in all sorts of trouble when he came to the crease. They're only looking like probably getting to about 120. Stoinis proved himself as a valuable player down the order, and not only with the bat, he's solved a bit of a problem because he's given them the extra bowler as well.
Kind of an alien position for him, batting down the order in T20 cricket. Bats higher up for Australia, bats even in the big bash, bats higher up. So new role which Delhi Capitals would be really excited that he's done as well as he has. That innings from Stoinis is a real positive for Delhi, because that is probably one area in the lower middle or middle order that they need some power hitting, and if he can provide that on a regular basis, that's a huge positive going forward in the tournament.
When they had Stoinis down the order, I thought it was a good move, because Stoinis then was playing mostly the fast bowlers, because had he come earlier, he would have had to face somebody like Bishnoi and Gautam was bowling quite well. He's a guy who loves to hit through the line. He's been in some good hitting form in England. Didn't get the big runs, so the situation was ideal. And if not for his innings, I don't think Delhi were in the game at all. So it was a brilliant innings, and let's hope it just raises his confidence for better things to come in the tournament.
I like the way they went about it. They went about it in a very calm and mature approach, just looking at a runner ball, not looking for anything more. Quite often you see young players sort of get ahead of themselves and think they need to be going at 8s and 10s to dig themselves out of a hole. But they recognised it was more about them just seeing the innings to the halfway mark to make sure that they had wickets in hand to be able to sort of attack hard at the back 10 overs.
It was difficult conditions. Shami was bowling as well as he's ever done with his tail up, and there was a little bit on offer with the new ball. So the approach that they had, particularly at that time after losing 3 early wickets, to ride that real storm from Kings XI and put a partnership in, because these guys have incredible hitting power. The skills are there, they can make up any time. So it was very refreshing to see the approach.
What's interesting is when you watch them on the field, you can see that there's a bit of a partnership between Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant. These are the two alpha males of that team, and somewhat think tank as well. Ashwin will slowly get into that as well. And that maturity and that responsibility was seen in the partnership, because these two both are guys who love to attack. Shreyas Iyer was very sensible. He only took on Gautam and hit those sixes, and Rishabh Pant again stayed within his limits. So it was a very, very mature performance depending on the situation.
Yeah, look, Ashwin's over was spectacular in many ways. Picking up 2 wickets to really turn the game very much in their favour. Again, he had a bit of a point to prove too, because he moved from the Kings XI to Delhi Capitals. So I'm sure there was a bit of a grin on his face before he made that dive and dislocated his shoulder. Or at least we think he's dislocated his shoulder. So it was a happy start to the end, to the over, but unfortunately a sad finish for him.
Just the quality you saw in that 1 over, unfortunately couldn't be, because of that injury that he sustained, couldn't really have a bigger say in the game. I had no doubt the way he started, he would have had a much bigger say. Delhi Capitals would be really hoping the injury is not too bad and he can get back on the park.
Brilliant. It was like a bit like Ambati Rayudu after a long gap playing that kind of an innings. And here was 1 over from Ashwin where he did everything as if he's been playing every day of the lockdown. That first ball to Karun Nair was beautiful. It wasn't the greatest of shots, and then that stop and deliver to Nicholas Pooran. It was a sensational over. Just broke the backbone of the opposition batting, because so much happened in that 1 over from Ashwin. Great comeback.